Good morning, boys and girls. We are moving on with our division lessons, and today we're going to be talking about partial quotients. Now remember, partial quotients is getting as close as you can to the answer, and it also takes knowing and understanding those multiplication facts. So we're going to break up 1,545. That's just too big of a number for me to divide by 3 right now. So I'm going to take it step by step. The first step I'm going to look at is, I know that 3 can't go into 1 because 1 is smaller than 3, but 3 can go into that number right there, 15. Now, it can either go into 15 evenly and equally, or it can get close enough to 15 that we can use it. And again, this is where your multiplication facts are going to help you. So we're going to count by 3s to get as close to 15 as we can without going over. So I'm just going to count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. We are in luck. 3 hits 15 equally. So I know that 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives me 15. So I'm just going to kind of write this over here, that 3 times 5 gives me 15. I'm going to put 15 right here, but I'm missing 2 spots. So I'm going to fill those 2 spots with zeros. Because really, I want to get close to 1,545. So because I'm adding 2 zeros here, I'm going to add 2 zeros here. Because I'm really timesing 3 times 500. And 3 times 500 is 1,500. Now, that 500 is important. And so I'm going to underline it, because I don't want to forget about it, because I'm going to use it at the end. Okay? So I divided, I multiplied, and now I'm going to subtract 1,545 minus 1,500. 5 minus 0 is 5. 4 minus 0 is 4. 5 minus 5 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So my answer is 45. Okay? Brought everything down. And now it's starting to think again, how does 3 go into 45? Well, I can use this, I can count by 3s and go all the way down to 45. Or I can sit here and just say, I know without a doubt that 3 times 10 is going to give me 30. So I'm going to get kind of close to that 45. And I'm going to just say 3 times 10. So 3 times 10 is 30. Again, I subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5. 4 minus 3 is 1. So that's 15. It's still bigger than that 3. So I have to keep going. I have to keep going until this answer is either less than 3 or a 0. Less than 3 means I have a remainder. 0 means I don't have a remainder, and it went in equally. So 3 goes into 15. 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to subtract, and I get a 0. So that means that 3 goes into 1,545 equally. I don't have a remainder, but I'm not done yet. Now I have to, I told you that 500 that I underlined was important. If you notice, every time I multiplied 3 by a number, I underline that number, because those are the numbers that I'm going to add together to get my answer. 500 plus 10 plus 5. I know that 500 plus 10 plus 5 gives me 515. So 1,545 divided by 3 gives me 515. Now, boys and girls, these are not always going to be the same. It depends on you and what you know multiplication-wise. Okay? If you already in your head knew that you can count by threes and get to 45, then instead of 3 times 10 giving me 30 and 3 times 5 giving me 15, you could have saved yourself a step. So I'm going to rewind us back to that original step. Okay? So I'm going to pretend that we had just finished 3 times 500, and we ended up getting, we subtracted, and now we're back at 45. The more multiplication facts you know on the top of your head, the easier these problems will be for you. So I know that if I took 3, my 3, and I times that by 15, I know that 3 times 15 off the top of my head is 45. So watch. 45 minus 45 is 0. I'm saving you another step. By knowing my multiplication facts, I'm saving myself time and steps. Because now all I have to do is 500 plus 15. My answer is 515. So this is partial quotients. We're going to do partial quotients again with one more problem. For our next problem, we're going to take 2,180 and we're going to divide that by 4. And again, I'm breaking it up into manageable pieces for me. So I know that 4 cannot go into 2 because 2 is smaller than 4. But I do know that 4 can go into 21. If I count by 4, I go 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Well, 24 is too big. So I'm stopping at 24. And I know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that 4 times 5 gives me 20. But I'm missing 2 placeholders. So I need to add 2 more zeros. So I'm really saying 4 times 500. 4 times 500 is 2,000. And so now I divided. I multiplied. Now I'm going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 0 is 8. 1 minus 0 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. So now I have 180, which is a little bit more manageable than 2,180. So again, I'm going to count by 4 to see how close to 18 that I can get. 4, 8, 12, 16, because if I get to 20, I'm too high. So I know that 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that 4 times 4 gives me 16. But again, I'm missing that placeholder, that 0. So 4 times 40 gives me 160. So now I'm going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. Now, again, I counted by 4, so I know that 4 goes into 20 equally. And I know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 times 5 gives me 20. I subtract it, I get a 0. And again, I'm not done. I have to add my 500 plus my 40 plus my 5. So if I add all of those together, my answer is 545. And that, boys and girls, is partial quotients.